Hi, and a warm welcome. My name is Karin. Today, I would like to speak with you about construction. And if you're wondering if I'm really a construction worker, no, clearly I'm not, but I'm a builder, a bodybuilder. Still thinking, really? Yes, really, but an internal bodybuilder. And my medium to do so is Contemporary Pilates, which revolves around dynamic stabilization to provide multi-dimensional movement freedom. So as adult people, we all have postural patterns. These postural patterns serve us more or less, hopefully a bit more than less. And with Contemporary Pilates, we are aiming to improve and maintain postural ease and efficiency. So allowing us to stand or sit or move with minimal effort and really the most pleasure. Now, going to my analogy of building, imagine you're building a house. When you're building a small house on a foundation that's a little bit askew, you might get away with it. But if you are building a bigger house, multi-story, balconies, all sorts of sophisticated things, you want a really, really balanced foundation. Now, core stabilization provides this foundation for the body, but in an adaptable way. Unlike a house, our body, of course, is and should be freely movable. Back to the house. Although a house is a stable object, it still is adaptable or should be adaptable. So if there is an earthquake, it should withstand the shaking of the earth. So in real life, the earthquake could be stumbling down a curb, or for me as a non-skier, some of these Swiss mountains, they are internal earthquake material, so I definitely want a stable body. And with Contemporary Pilates, we are aiming to improve that stability and adaptability of the body. Now, if you're thinking of Pilates as exercises in where you lie on your back and do forward flexion, like crunch type exercises, think again, although that's part of Pilates. In the contemporary method, it's a fairly small part, because although these exercises, they are great and they strengthen abdominals, in terms of core stability, they are certainly not topping the list. Neither do they top the list when it comes to multi-dimensional movement freedom. So in Contemporary Pilates, we are moving in all directions: rotation, lateral flexion, flexion, extension, and the combination of the lot. And we are also using all kinds of different body positions. So we have a very extensive repertoire of standing exercises, simple and fancy. We have archetypal positions like weight-bearing positions. We have a whole variety of kneeling exercises. Then, of course, sitting repertoire. And we haven't forgotten about lying. So side lying, very much part of the repertoire. Extension. And supine. So let's do a classic here, a single leg stretch. So great variety of repertoire, great variety of movements to mirror the multifaceted way our movement life is or can be. Now, for the purpose of core stability, strengthening the deep local muscles, we are differentiating the way we train the more movement-oriented muscles and the stabilizing muscles of the body. And then in real life, it hopefully all blends beautifully. So join me for a little experiment. Take a seat on the edge of your chair, provided you're sitting on a chair. Feet flat on the floor, pelvis centered, you are sitting right on top of your sit bones. The spine is long, you are lifting from the top of your head. And then from here, lift your arms up towards the ceiling and lower your arms back down. And as you do so, tune into your body and feel, where are you working? Is there a place where you're stretching? Where are you stabilizing? Now, if I'm telling you that that in the lands of Pilates, this is a back strengthening exercise. Do you believe me? Maybe you do. And maybe you think, she should really go back to her anatomy, which of course I do, because there's so much to learn. But in this case, it actually is a back strengthening exercise. So let's look at that. If you're still moving your arms, you can relax them now. If I do something big, like a spine extension, I'm engaging big muscles. So if I'm moving the spine, like I did just before, and some of your big, long, powerful extensors are the erector spinae, so long spinal extensors. When you're sitting upright, doing something with minimal load, like moving your arms overhead, you don't really need your multividae. You need deeper muscles to stabilize your spine, so you just take them out of your pocket. No, you don't. They are all along your spine from the top to the base to the sacrum, and they are stabilizing individual segments of your spine under minimal load, or when you're moving in a bigger way. To train them, it really makes sense to maintain the alignment of the spine. Now talking about the spine extensors, so rather than doing big movement with the spine. So back to the experiment we did. So you really believe me? Let's take off that jumper. Place your fingertips to the right and left of your spine. So in the middle you feel the bony protrusions of the spine, and then to the right and left you feel muscles, and right now those muscles should be fairly soft. So you're sitting once again with your feet parallel hip distance right on top of your sit bone, lengthen from the crown of your head, and then press your feet down into the floor. And relax. Do it again. And you feel those muscles tighten underneath your fingertips. So you're getting firm, they engage. And then when you let go of the pressure of your feet, they relax a little bit. So one more time. So this tiny, tiny little movement. It's not even a movement. It's an internal activation of the muscles all along the back of the leg and then up into the spine. That's already a back strengthening exercise. What we did before, I will be mirroring you. Left fingertip still to the left of the spine. Lift your right arm. Lift it up really slowly and then feel what's happening underneath your left hand. So once again, the muscles are getting firmer, they engage as I'm moving the right arm. Of course, the muscles moving the right arm are the shoulder muscles, but the deep spine extensors, they respond to the load that's now impacting on the spine. It's a very low load, so you need small muscles only. So indirectly, this is a back strengthening exercise when you move your arms away from your body. Another way to strengthen the same muscles, once again, placing your fingertips to the right and left of the spine, is changing the orientation of your spine against gravity. So, for example, leaning forwards, moving from the hip joints, and then sitting back up. So as you are hinging forwards, you feel the firmness again in your back extensors, and then when you come back, you feel the softening. So the movement you saw is, or you did, was leaning forwards back or an arm movement. But what was really happening, or what we focus on, is in the part of the body that doesn't move. And that brings me to one of the challenges of core stabilization training. Often our mind and our focus and our sensation goes to the parts of the body that move, which is fabulous, but in Contemporary Pilates, we want to direct our internal attention to the parts of the body that don't move. Which brings me to another challenge. It's the type of engagement. If you're doing squats or big movements, you feel big muscles working and you get that burning sensation, and that's great for that purpose. But core stabilizing muscles, they engage gently. It's still very clearly feelable, but it's subtle. So it's a completely different sensation, equally beneficial, equally powerful, but within a different realm. Which brings me to another challenge, which is pace. To tune into the body, to sense subtleties, most of us, we need time. So the exercises are performed reasonably slow. So there's enough time to differentiate the movement, to feel the stability, to relax through the outer muscles as much as possible, and really get into those deeper muscles and build up strength. So there are many, many times where I have given a presentation, or I prepared for one, or I did a little clip, and people are going like, oh yeah, no, this makes a lot of sense and, you know, beautiful, but can you just speed it up a little bit? Because it would be so much more exciting and engaging for people if it's just a little bit faster, a little bit more dynamic, or, you know, the clock is ticking and we have a very short lunch break or whatever it is. Of course, you can speed it up and you can change rhythms, and that's great too. But once again, that serves a different purpose. Core stabilization, deep work requires time. And if you have experienced the benefits of this kind of work, right now, I'm sure you're having a big smile on your face because you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if this is new to you, I highly recommend trying it, give it a go, see what's happening, and when you speed up, you do it so much more efficiently and with so much more pleasure. So happy practice, and yes, become your internal bodybuilder as well. Thank you.